What do you think was the big thing that made the switch? Was it your first fight?
Yeah, I think once I found something that I loved and something to live for, which was martial arts and MMA and fighting. When I found that, it saved my life, man. That was what made me want to wake up in the morning. Right before, like, wake up in the morning didn't mean shit to me. It's like, okay, well, what do I do? Go work this stupid fucking job or go drink, or, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, because that was really like why I was doing all the drinking and partying and stuff. It wasn't that's like who I am. It was just a matter of like, well, what do I fucking do? Like, do I go drink or do I go to this stupid factory job? Yeah. Like I don't care about making money that much. I just want money so I can have fun. You know, you're just a kid.
How did your first fight happen? Was it because it sounds like you weren't. Did you start training before your first fight, or was this something just sort of?
Nah.
It was just a fluke, right? I got to hear this, man. Tell me, please. How'd your first fight happen?
So I went to a fight. It was at like an Elks Lodge or a Moose Lodge or one of those types of places. Yeah. This is before there was commissions or anything. I go to the fight with my friend who was supposed to fight that night. I think he was supposed to fight Wes Sims, actually.
Oh, no way.
And yeah, the guy who I went with, his name was Fat Joe, is what we called him. And I think it was Wes that didn't show up. You know, this is like shit shows back in the day, man. I mean, no commission. Like, yeah. You know, I mean, you walk in and it's literally like guys sitting around cigars betting on fights, yeah, like you'd see on a movie, you know. So this is a real shit show. But at some point in the night, I don't remember. I think it was pretty early on. They said the announcer came up and said, "Hey, you know, here's the champion, blah blah blah. You know, some scary name, and you know his opponent's not here. Who wants to fight him? You know, any takers?" And me and my friends, we'd been doing coke most of the day, and so I was pretty fired up, and yeah. I said, bro, I'm gonna fight this motherfucker. And I had to go over to this table, pay $30 for the entry fee, ran across the street and grabbed a mouthpiece. There was like a sporting goods store, you know, down the street, bought a mouthpiece. There's a restaurant across the street, went over there, used their microwave to boil the mouthpiece, had it fitted within an hour. Come back. Now I'm backstage at the fighters meeting, and all they really did at the fighters meeting was there's no weigh-ins or anything. It's just you're fighting him. What rules do you guys want to do? What's your guys' rules? You know, kind of things like that. And I ended up beating the guy. So he was a former Tough Man champion, is what it was.
Oh wow!
And so I ended up beating him. And I fucking loved it, man. I was like, this was the greatest thing I ever did. And ended up doing a couple like that. And, you know, basically what we would do is me and Fat Joe and a couple guys, we would just get coked up and we'd go to the fight. And it was just a fun thing. You know, we fought twice in the night a couple times, and we just had fun, man. And I kept winning. And then finally, one day, my second fight of the night was a kickboxing match. And this guy, I still remember his name, Dusty Keplinger. This kid was an absolute killer. He was about to go pro. He needed someone just to get his last little match in. I stepped up like, yeah, I'm a badass. I'll go, whatever. And he beat the living hell out of me. Just mauled me. And I never felt this before where, you know, if you ever spar with anybody, you know how debilitating it is when they can hit you whenever they want and you can't do a single thing back.
It's the worst. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yes, I think it's worse than. I mean, grappling is so bad when someone holds you down, and you just can't get out. This is a terrible thing. Yeah. But when you're fighting someone and you cannot touch them, you cannot do a single thing, and they are just putting their hands on you whenever they want. And, so he beat the living hell out of me. I talked to him backstage after, and he goes, man, like, you're tougher than hell, bro. He's like, I couldn't knock you out. He's like, you're good, man. You got to keep doing this. And after that first loss, that was probably the biggest turning point in my life right there. I said, man, I said, man, I got to figure this out. So I decided to get out of my little town, move to Columbus, Ohio. My brothers already lived here. They were going to college, both of them. So they're positive influences for me. They let me stay with them. So I move up here, and I don't have any friends, don't know a single person. But I go find the first gym that I can find. Ended up being the luckiest son of a bitch ever, because the first gym I went to, there's 2 very high-level professionals that are really on the cusp of the UFC at this point in their lives. If they would have stuck with it, they'd probably been in the UFC, to be honest. You'd probably know their names, but they didn't. So they kind of took me under their wing, and the rest is history, man.
That's incredible, man. You know, something that really resonates with your story, with how you transitioned from where you were and into the world of fighting, is that it shows that, man, sometimes you have to find something in your life that is exhilarating to you as what you're trying to leave behind. You know, like for example, it kind of reminds me, there's a comedian named Artie Lang, and he went through heroin addiction. Yep. And he was talking about his experience talking with a nutritionist and someone that was trying to help him at the addiction center. And he was telling me, you know, Artie, you should just start running. He says, man, a runner's high is just as good as a heroin high. And Artie kind of looked at him and was like, you've never done heroin before, have you? And so, it's kind of like you gotta find something that's. I could see where fighting, the exhilaration and the adrenaline and just the rush of fighting. I could see where that would be something, if you have the aptitude for it, that could replace the highs that you're trying to leave, the negative highs that you're trying to leave behind. So that really is just a cool chapter of your story, man. Is how you transitioned away from that.
You know, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, that was all I did. Was, again, I have an obsessive personality, not necessarily an addictive personality. And I just found a new obsession, a positive one, something that, you know, every single day, even now, I wake up and I think about fighting, and I'm still obsessed over it. You know what I mean? Like it still gets me up. Like it still gets me motivated still. On my low days when I don't feel like going and training, you know, I just stop and I'll visualize fighting in the octagon, and you know, and that just wakes you right up, man. You're like, all right, we got to fucking do this, man. Like, you know, watch a certain fight or something. So, you know, I feel very bad for the people, and there's a lot of them out there that never find something that they love that much. You know, most people are just living their day to day, man, and, you know, living for the weekend or just getting through the day, you know, their 9 to 5, just fuck, man. What a miserable life, man. You only live once, bro. You got to fucking go for it, man.
Absolutely.
And if you don't find that something that you love that much, then you're wasting it.